I'm kind of tempted to just have the creative illustration book and read through it while the stream's going. And every time I see quotes I like, I'll just read them out loud.
That'd actually be helpful.
There's some background audio.
Just need to turn this off and put Twitch on. Just like usual.
Oh my god, it looks so good.
What is it?
The Bloodborne art book.
What's this link? Who posted these?
Somebody just posted images from them. Oh man, I gotta get this book. It's available at the Labyrinth right now.
Bloodborne. Yeah, you've been talking about it. You're like, gotta grab that. So tonight, I'm gonna do some finish up the last batch of critiques, and do some student work review, because I think I've been getting a couple of them that's sitting in my inbox. Let me just see what's going on. Johnny, how's your day going, man?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. Pretty good.
I saw you sketching an old man's face.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like your comfort zone drawing?
I don't know,
sort of thing?
something. I was messing around, and then got back to work. Some I don't know. I'm pretty inspired recently. A lot of I'm gonna be making more of a push on my IP stuff, because I have like a better direction of where I want to go now.
Oh right, yeah. You talked to Sam about it.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? How did it? How
Very
did it
good.
Go? Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Like, elaborate, because I wanna learn more too.
Oh, I'll talk a bit about it later.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm super interested. What, like, I think I'll pitch mine too, even though mine's.
Ooh,
like
whose are those?
Hannah's.
Nice.
Let me bring this in to Photoshop. What? Personally, I'm a big fan, and that's not just because it's my name.
Oh, when you're done loading all your stuff, can you minimize those windows?
No. What are you talking about? What are you?
James
oh,
says
Humano.
I can finally watch. Good
Hey,
evening.
Humano's
Good.
here.
Good evening. Good.
James Webb, ST. What? What does the ST stand for? Like, super tall?
Super tramp.
Super. It's that kind of stream, right?
You ever watch that movie? Into the Wild?
Sort
Jesus,
of.
get them. Wow.
You always have to watch that ad before you look at the stream, eh? Weird.
No, I'm on something else. It's not even my stream.
Yeah, we're feeling good because classes are going. I'm getting a lot done every day. Seems like I'm gonna be sane. Space telescope. Yo, ST stands for Space Telescope.
Oh shit.
Wow, you see really far, bro.
Yeah.
Just
The far side.
so many light years out.
Yeah.
I can't even see you.
There's so many. We couldn't even see them all. There's so many because we don't have a space telescope. So telescope.
Telescope. Tell us what you see.
A telescope is actually, contrary to popular belief, it's actually a mix between a telephone and the scope of humanity.
Okay, so this is the kind of gibberish that you will talk about.
Yeah.
That I have no idea. I can't even save you from that. That's
Exactly.
That's just a little bit far out.
It's great.
Yeah.
Basically, anyone that new that comes into the studio, that's like, new, they get trolled really hard because I'll just walk past them and say things that are completely irrelevant to everything.
And I catch that.
And then I just watch them, like, their expression be like, what the fuck?
Give me a second. I need to find Ted's work. This is his last batch. which he did amazing.
Wait, how many crits are you doing?
No, I'm not doing all of these as crits. I'm showing some of the student work, and I have to look at a few. I think Hannah sent me on the. Wait, Trisha sent me on the different email. So I'm like okay, guys, I have like 6 different emails. It's crazy, I know, but honestly, I'm just jumping through all of them trying to grab a couple of files. Before we get started here, anyways, thanks guys for joining on the stream. We did change the schedule a little bit. You'll notice that this is Thursday, and I'm on. This is not, I just completely hijacked Johnny's day. And we're gonna do an alternate kind of.
Or basically, what happened was Frank was like, "I'm streaming now on your day," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm never streaming again." So now it's just Frank all the time.
Yeah, because I just seek that much attention. I want all of Johnny's fans on me too.
But yeah, I think we're gonna be alternating Thursdays. Huh. So every week it'll be a different one of us.
Huh. So I got a question for you, Johnny. When you're doing that comfort zone kind of painting, which to me seems like impossible shit that I can never do, what do you consider is like your comfort zone these days?
Oh, well, comfort zone is anything I'm comfortable drawing because I've drawn it a lot. So
you like
portraits, characters, animals, weapons, costume, anything in there. Especially if it's imaginative stuff where I'm just like playing with simple shapes and geometry. I like that a lot. Also like just drawing boxes and like simple geometric shapes that don't actually serve much of a purpose, but I'm just warming up with that. And I really like drawing just like abstract hatching. I don't know why, it's just really relaxing.
Okay, I got a few here.
Ooh.
Alright, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Alright. For those of you that don't know, I'm teaching an environment painting class. And this is the second week assignment where I've made a grid. It's pretty basic grid, and then I gave it to the students and be like, okay, just do your best. Do what you do. And basically asked them to design a whole 180 pan. Well, this is kind of like a 90 degrees pan actually, of this big environment, and choose 4 different frames. So I'll show you the few examples that my students did. Before this part, we've went through the classes of designing with tones, using the simple 3-tone composition, meaning your highlight, your shadow, and your midtones to start composing how you want your space to look. So something like this.
Oh, did you go live on Facebook?
I did.
Okay.
I think I did. Did I not? Let me check that again. 'Cause sometimes I forget to click. No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, that's why I wasn't showing up.
Okay, let me click that.
There we go.
Hit that. Alright. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about environment design and just the things that I want to step by step take people over with my course. So there's a couple of these things that's just a big spatial design. Like this is one of the student work where before he was just working on these thumbnails, not really focusing on like how the space worked, but we've gone through the process of working with grid, working with simple perspective, without the challenges to design such a big wide open space, 90 degrees, like you're just looking as a big pan, but also choosing 4 frames that you have to compose within it. And I think this is quite an interesting exercise where you're being challenged to do the tonal composition, but in a space, in a 3-dimensional depth that you can that leads back into the distance. So obviously all these are just experiments that's been done on the grid. Like how things fall back into the distance is really by optical illusion, by how you line things up to the lines that fall back. So the difference between these two that you see here, one is Ted, one is William. One is very organic. So this one is a mountain. You can see things falling back in the distance, getting smaller and smaller as shape goes more in depth. You can see that if it's a cityscape like this where you're just painting boxes, when the edges of these tone align to the perspective grid, everything start looking like they're sitting in a 3-dimensional space. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't want to critique on these things because I'll do that in class time. But I wanted to just show you the kind of an example of how I think about space and how would like the people that are trying to get into environment design to start thinking this way as well. It's basically I don't start any of my environment pieces until I know I can design with a space. I can plan forward. So yeah, they really line up quite nicely. But you know, now that we're streaming a little bit earlier, we can be a little bit, you know, more energetic and kind of just have a bit of fun after work.
Yeah.
This one is the first one I'm going to start with. Now, there's a lot going on. This is one of my students' work. There's a lot happening in the frame. The sense of tonal composition, I think, is halfway there, even though it's really heavy-handed. Like the grid are there, I can see the space, but it's very, you know, like punchy, very very flat on in how deep the blacks are, and the grouping of these things are getting very small shape, very fine.
Yeah.
So a few things I have to do to bring this back into kind of a tonal value. Tonal value meaning that oh, my tablet is set on a different screen. Let me get that back in here. As I was clicking here, my cursors were over on the other screen. Okay. So I have a few critiques to do today, and after I do these, I'll start to paint some of my own stuff. As Johnny impatiently wait for me to get to the point, I will begin by eliminating all the white and black marks. Like I want these parts to be very controlled. I don't want to leave any of the small imperfections showing.
Is this by one of your students?
Yep.
Nice.
So she's more well versed in character art, but she's just getting into environments. So we're just trying to work together and solve some of the simple problems of composition. So first of all, I go and just simplify some of the shapes. Like I don't need all the nice intersections of black and white and make them all fight with each other. Like where
what kind of fight though? Is it like a sword fight?
It's a fight where nobody wins.
Oh,
like,
shit.
See these parts where the whites are showing through, where it's not very controlled. I'm gonna start by simplifying and eliminating all the parts where it's just not how tones are supposed to be working together. You know?
I think having it rough like that though is okay for a start.
Oh yeah.
Like, cause you're not reading them like this, you're gonna zoom out quite a bit more.
Yeah.
When you do these, and then cleaning them up would definitely probably be the next step, and then from there you would start just like adding your halftones and occlusion and all that. It's tricky though.
Occlusions and halftones. Yeah, that's true. But I want to get a good habit of just keeping these things very simple, very controlled.
Yeah.
So like I don't need too much indication of value going everywhere. I just need to sort of think of these things as major boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the blacks need to have a value, need to have a reason to be there. So I'll just simplify all these things. As a start. And also I'll think in terms of value composition, like the light will probably come from the windows and start hitting some of the walls on the other side. I don't need the chandeliers right now. Like when I react to these things, I'm just really trying to simplify.
Nicholas says, "Hey guys, I remember the time. Woo."
What time?
Umino says the light from the window make Johnny's silhouette look like Jesus. Get out of here.
Oh, another one of the Jesus.
Get out of here. That makes me salty. Don't even start that shit in here.
Why are you salty?
Man, I don't want to be associated with that scrub.
Oh, get out, Johnny. Get out. You must get that a lot at this point, you know? Like,
Yeah, which is annoying because Jesus was Middle Eastern. He wasn't even a white person. It's pretty trolly. And also I've never even grown a proper beard, so
oh, why don't you?
Oh cool. There's a historical martial arts tournament in downtown Toronto. That's gonna be like a fundraiser. That'd be nice to do and go do some like sketches of, like, use it as an observational drawing thing.
I want to draw cars, like car shows and cars. Those are always fun.
Just go sit at a cafe in your like Babler area.
Oh yeah. All the expensive sports cars and the privileged Asian kids will come out and with their girlfriends, plural, and going to boutique stores and buy handbags. It's kind of like their weekly routine. And I can just draw their cars. And after I'm done with that, I'll draw their girlfriends. So, so I know I've lost a lot of the design element that Trisha started with, but I'm just trying to lead the eye back into space. So creating simple shapes that describe the volume is very important.
She's gotten a lot better.
Oh yeah, things are super lined up, and there's like a lot of design going on.
Trisha, you're getting good fast. Gotta slow down a little.
Getting good.
Let us catch up.
So there's two ways I can do this. I can just like rework it until I'm happy with it, or I can do a value, kind of like a wash over top, and just fix only some of the elements that I'm having trouble with. Because I think what Trisha's doing is she's trying to design with the details, but the values are very harsh. Like I've made all the students be able to just work on their painting with nothing but the hard brush. So basically, I put a ban on soft brush, on gradients and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
so at the same time, she's trying to design with intricacy, but I've forbidden any kind of soft brush usage. And it's pretty difficult to be able to do both at the same time. So you see, like, all her details still stand, but I simply just washed over with a layer of tone,
That's crazy.
and that suddenly looks a bit better. So
I like those plants.
the
I
point
don't know why, but I
the
really
point is to, you like the plants? There's
yeah,
actually a
like
lot of
the
plants.
abstraction reads really well.
Yeah, no, these are good. So the point is to establish your local values in terms of how the tones are gonna fit together, and then you know, when these things show up, I don't know, maybe I'll have some cloud shapes in the back.
Nunavin, we're gonna be actually cutting down on the crits in future streams.
Well, we're not technically cutting down the quits. We're just not gonna do so many of them on the stream, because the
Yeah.
stream are.
Like, we'll probably do some in the Discord and stuff, but we're not gonna do as many of them live.
Yeah. That's the thing. So you see, it's Trisha's thumbnails are actually easy to critique because, like, in terms of placement, they're pretty on point. But in terms of tone, they're getting a little bit further away from what could be really useful. What could be done.
The grouping is very one thing I noticed about them, like, everything's placed very well, but the grouping of the values is very
Very harsh. Yeah?
yeah, well, like, there's not enough lost edges or like value groups connecting to each other. Everything's very, like, separated.
Yeah. So very quickly I can start to sort of put bigger shapes and groups of tones together to just get a simple read, and kind of pull these value closer together and let them read as details rather than just harsh lines fitting into each other, right? So after, like, a just basic wash of tonal control, a lot of these are starting to pop a lot. Oh, Jin's in the house, Ben and there. Hey, the usual crews are here. So it seems like 7 o'clock is okay.
Jebediah is trying to be funny. I'm just gonna ignore you.
Yeah, so crit section on the Discord, that's gonna be the areas where we're gonna look at and try to pull out a few. And I think crits are pretty fun. I think crits are, like, I'm gonna try to do them on off hours. Actually, a better idea would I just pull out a few, and if I feel like doing them and their environments, I'll just do them at random times so you guys can catch the replay. Otherwise, we're actually trying to make Thursday at 7 the time where we stream.
We are making it.
Yeah, we are making it, and we're trying to make it so that we paint more IP stuff, which is like our own designs, our own paintings, so we can fully utilize that time after work, where we get something productive out of it, right? Because now we're working studio hours. It's pretty hard to do a full day of work and then do 3 hours or 2 hours of streaming at 9. So that's the main reason for the change in schedule.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and you guys gotta go easy on me right now because my throat is really burning. I think I caught a cold. So if I talk and stutter and stuff, it's probably because my throat hurts. Yo, look at these.
You know, when the stream goes offline and we have that window there, we should probably put something on that window, like the resting image that says we're switching to Thursday 7 p.m. Okay, cool.
I did. It says Thursday 7 p.m.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, that's changed because before it says Tuesday and Thursday at
I
9.
think there's probably quite a few people that missed our
Our
things about it, so it's going to take a while for like people to.
There's
get
always
used to it.
there's always a momentum change because I think people showed up on Tuesday expecting a stream.
Yeah, suckers.
But I mean, this just has to happen because waiting here in the studio until 9 and then do the stream is very difficult. Like
Yeah.
by that time, we're not gonna have any energy left. We just want to go home, you know, read a book, be humans for a while. Because you know, artists, yeah, sure, but
You know,
it's also
you know,
important to just be
yeah.
human. What you gotta say?
Well, nothing, not a thing. I'm guessing, from what I'm seeing, a lot of this kind of value structure is more of a Z-depth kind of approach, or is it? I think it's a mix of depth and also a mix of some of them are just focal value. Like I'm curious what the thinking is behind it in terms of lighting, like what kind of light is being used.
Oh, you mean
Is it
like,
overcast? Is it midday light? Like, is it?
you mean these kind of value compositions?
Yeah.
A lot of them are using basic overcast and you know the atmospheric perspective rules,
Okay.
where things going back kind of just have to leading to that filtered midtones.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good base to start with without thinking too much about the light.
I like that they're being kept to 3 values as well.
Yeah.
The less values you can do comps with, the better. It's more difficult the less values. Like,
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you ever seen that guy that does the black and white comps, but they're like super detailed, and then he overlays them, and they're like, he nails the shadow shapes so well that it just looks good regardless. Because after you get like if you do a simple values, you can always go and play around with the values within those groupings later. It doesn't mean it has to stay just like that.
No, of course not. Like this is just a setup, like the beginning, the start. But if you can get a good read on your focal point just with 3 values,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a lot of room to play. Because a lot of people don't think about this, and when their painting come out, the value gets very
Yeah.
hard
Like
to
this
see.
one is really strong.
This one.
Yeah.
Well, this one's actually 2 values.
Yeah. That's why.
I'm not actually sure what's going on.
It doesn't. The narrative is a little difficult to read, but in terms of abstraction and just like overall comp, it's really strong because you've got like all the grays are grouped,
Yeah.
and then the black is split up to show detail.
But think about it this way: like if I force you, as I force my students, to use hard brush and 3-tone to start all of their compositions starting week 1, that ban has just recently been lifted because after the value composition, I went in to explain, you know, the keys, the high key, the low key.
Yeah.
Being able to control your tones, it just forces them to think in terms of how am I gonna.
Jin says
utilize-
1 value comps are the most boss. Can you do 1 value comp? I don't think so. You're not good enough yet.
Wait, you can. It's just black, right?
Yeah.
It's just black on white.
That's abstract art.
Is it? No.
Yeah.
So you see, even with simple 3-tone, there's a lot you could do with it.
Yeah.
Like you can even describe simple lighting just by getting your tones to group correctly, to do the things that you wanted to do. Because I'm gonna make the right side as these rocks overlap and create a nice silhouette, a nice shape for me to work off of.
I haven't actually used the square brush much.
Oh, it's so good. Look at
Let me
these.
try it out.
Look at how crazy this
Wow, nice.
square brush is.
Yeah.
Like it's basically
Straight
just,
shake.
just a simple
Ziggy Doo.
solid brush. But I'm digging these. I like how these are coming out.
Yumino says, "Here comes Frank and rocks again."
Yeah, well, I won't apologize for my rocks. That's
Contrary to what Tenacious D says, rock is not dead.
because I'm keeping it alive.
Yeah. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Rock is dead, rock is dead. Haven't you heard? Rock is dead. Rock and roll is dead.
How can rock be dead?
It's not. Well, you know, I don't know. But they also made a song like called The Metal. And the song says you can't kill the metal will live on.
So
Punk rock tried to defy the metal, but they failed as they were smite into the ground.
So
Metal.
I'm having trouble here. One is because Johnny's like rocking out over there, and two.
I've been rocking out all day, man. Since I got into the studio, I was rocking out.
Two is because I don't actually know what I'm painting, or rather what I'm fixing, because I have no idea what these are. Maybe they're like rocks.
Yeah.
But sure, you know, whatever. Maybe they're like rocks, you know.
Are any of you guys doing the CDC character design challenge on Facebook? I think I'm gonna do it this round because it's Egyptian mythology, which is pretty interesting.
Egyptian, huh?
Yeah.
So here, like, what I mean is, with 3-value comps, you know, I've been going on about this for a while, but you really can do everything you want very, very quickly here. But what I didn't talk about is how every time you do a shape, you create lines with it. So if I do a box over here, I've actually created 3 lines. One here, one here, and one here.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta think about how these are gonna direct my my painting, right? So every time the one tone meets the edge of another tone, it creates a line. So even though I'm doing these tones, I have to think in terms of lines, because everything starts with lines. If your composition work, it's not because of your tones mostly, it's because of your lines. So I'm being forced to be very careful with my silhouette. Like, I'm using tones, but really what I'm trying to do is to push and pull these silhouettes and shapes so that my lines are starting to work. This is a very different process than sketching something out and then filling in the tones later. That's a very valid process, but I'm just challenging my students to be able to do this so that their lighting and their tonal composition and their painting will start to look very clear and very good.
You know what's the most mind-blowing thing about this? Taking this approach and using it to study guys like Cornwell, and you realize how good their value comps is, and you're just like, shit.
Yeah, no, you, like, if you want to do a good painting, you absolutely need to go through this step. It just, like, not having tonal composition is make everything muddy and unreadable. But having a good value comp, even if your designs and your details are not quite there, it'll just save your life.
Yeah.
It'll save so much work.
So like you'll be like in the war, in the great Jedi War, and you'll be like swinging your lightsaber around, and then you face like a terrible foe, and when you're about to be cut to pieces, the value comp comes and force pushes him away. That's how it works. It's a very truthful account.
Nicholas Rage Tilly.
Jetty.
You have rage in your name, bro.
Yeah.
But
have some salt.
anyways, yeah, he's been doing thumbnails with just pen and marker, and yeah, that's actually a great way to do thumbnails. I just do them.
Yumino is so stumped.
It's like you. Well, you know what? Somebody actually commented on, like one of my friends commented on I think a video recording of our last stream. It's like, Johnny, nobody's impressed with your gibberish. I had a good laugh about that.
That was funny.
But, anyways, so this batch is not bad. This batch is pretty good. I see my students trying to get familiar with value comp. It's very, very different from the usual way of doing thumbnails, but I think this is very useful. And then, whoa, this is Umino's new piece.
Wow!
From last week, I think. And I like it a lot. Did I quit this one? I didn't quit this one. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
don't
What
think
can
I
you
quit.
quit?
How can you quit? How can you quit? Never mind. So, what are we painting here? If we're just looking at how this painting is, I really like it.
You know, it's the first thing that's jumping out to me, like,
What's jumping out
is
at you?
the water isn't reflecting things correctly.
Why is the water not reflecting things?
It looks like, kind of like blue fruit juice instead of a mirror.
Oh, blue fruit juice.
Because it's either in motion and it's going to cause like foaminess with like a lot of white, or it's going to be a little bit still and there's going to be some ripples, but it's going to reflect everything like a mirror. So it's going to be distorted, but it'll show, you'll see basically mirrored images of everything.
This looks a lot like kind of like an anime background, yeah?
It looks very Ghibli-esque.
Yeah. I don't usually know how to critique these paintings, because like in terms of detail, in terms of everything, it's very well executed. And how would I really critique it? Oh, I think that this part is the reflection that I'm just painting over, but it looks kind of awkward, so I'm gonna just flatten out the whole thing and redo it. See if I can get something funny going on.
Yeah, you definitely got a cast shadow there.
Is this a cast shadow or is that a reflection?
Well, you get a reflection and a cast shadow.
Reflection and a cast shadow?
Yeah, see, how do you figure that out?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, how do you figure that out? That's a question, not a statement.
You actually, the shadow would be the same place that would reflect the underplane. So you don't really, that's pretty good.
So this is okay then. I'm gonna do... Why do you drum so much?
It's yeah. I just keep hearing this song stuck in my head now. Rock is dead, rock is dead.
Because you're talking about it.
Yeah. If you guys haven't guessed already, I like music a lot.
You like bad music a lot.
Yeah, okay.
Ha! Ha ha ha! Fight me. I dare you. Anyway, so reflections. I think that's in the wrong place. I just did that in the wrong place.
Why don't you just call like lasso and flip it?
Because that's cheating, bro.
You know, better cheat more then.
Like how do I select this? If I select this and I bring it down, it's gonna be like flipped in the wrong.
Why?
You know, it's gonna be flipped in the wrong angle. Like it's not even. One is looking up and one is looking down. The perspective is all wrong.
That's true.
So I think I can maybe cheat it a little bit, but it's gonna look really off, really awkward. So maybe I can put this here. Drop the
rock and roll is dead.
drop the opacity and whatever.
I said rock and roll.
Sure.
You know, it would be pretty mirrored though. Like that doesn't get as much distortion as usually like the sky.
Like here?
I don't know if you get that cloud in there, but you would. Basically, how it works is you pretend you're the water, and the water's looking like out, like from that viewing plane, like you're lying on the ground, and you look around, and everything you see is what the water reflects. So it'll probably be more of the tops of those clouds. It's tricky.
You probably wouldn't see any of this.
Yeah, there's only certain things you would see.
I can only fake it, which I fully intend to.
But having some fakery is better than nothing, because it just needs to feel reflective.
Oh shit! I accidentally clicked.
Forza. Yeah, let's play Forza now on the stream.
I just accidentally clicked Forza.
You guys want to see Frank really bad at a racing game?
No.
That triggered.
Me bad at racing games?
See,
Never.
here he goes. Here we go, guys.
Never.
Here we go.
Like maybe bad at Mario Kart.
Yeah, I'll probably beat you in Mario Kart.
I challenged my student to a duel in Mario Kart, and I proceeded to lose really badly. It was very embarrassing for me because I don't lose at any racing game. Just kidding.
Jin says when you look into the water looks into you.
How'd you figure that? No, actually, the water doesn't care about you. So, I really think the water is actually gonna reflect the brick more.
Just some of it, like the top half maybe. But it's definitely gonna have to be in that same kind of. You get like a Anyways, whatever. You figure it out. I'm done. Yeah.
So like I'm gonna spend this entire stream just figuring out the water. Kind of give you guys a heads up. You know, it's basically all water here. All water, all stream. Why are you strumming again?
You know.
Like you're drumming so close to the mic that people they don't hear you drum. They just hear like this bam 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 bam, and then you're like.
Yo, my timing's on point.
And you just gibberish all the way through, man.
Yeah.
Like what's up with that?
Ooh. Yeah, see that put that blue in there, man. All the sky blue.
All the skies are blue.
Can you make a little bit of white peek out of that corner, just as if the cloud was extending up? Because there's part of the cloud that we can't see.
No way, bro.
Just a little, yeah. And then break up the edge a little, like get that like a little, you know.
Get a little bit of this.
No. This like, you know, when you draw like a reflection, it's on that ground plane. So like the not like anything crazy, just make the edge a little wavy of the shape. Yeah. Just give it like a little bit of a something.
Give it a little bit of something.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be anything crazy.
I think drumming is your default mode.
Yeah.
Like I just have to like remind you every 5 seconds. But that's okay, you know, if you really want to drum, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
Until the viewer complains, I'm not gonna.
They probably will complain a lot.
I'm not mad, you know. I'm pretty whatever for the most part. I'm almost a little bit too whatever.
Jim Oren, don't buy too many. Try them out first, and
What's
then.
he doing? What's he gonna
buy? I got I recommended some microliners that I use, the Stabilo ones, the orange microliners. Just see how they work first. See if you like them. Don't like take my word for it.
Is he gonna buy all of it?
I don't know.
I think the best way to paint water is to just get some references, man.
Yep. Some references, bro.
Because like I think I fully just actually it's not that bad, you know. There's a bridge, there's a cast shadow.
Yeah.
I'd say it's okay. There's a bit of blue in there. Would the edge of the water gets a little bit of white, or no?
The best way to paint water is to drink a lot of it, and then go find references. Good trolling, sir.
best way to paint water is to go for a swim.
Yeah.
But yeah, all joking aside, I think your work is getting a lot better. Like just in the way how you're solving problems and you're getting these really clean illustrations done. They're pretty amazing. So you're probably gonna hit that point where I'm not gonna be able to critique your work very much. I'm just doodling over top of this, trying to simplify some areas, make the shadow shape kind of group together a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then the majority part of your problem solving is probably composition. Like if you can compose well, your piece is going to look very good because you have the patience to paint the details. I don't paint details ever. So like something like this, if you know your composition and you can do it well, it's going to look very good. Alright, I think I spent the entire stream fixing this water, so I guess that's it, guys. I'm gonna bail and run out of here.
It's a good game.
Good game. No, I'm kidding. I'll do like maybe one or two more. I'll save this and send it to you later. Boom.
Boom. Boom.
I like thumbnails. I really like thumbnails.
Yeah, me
like
too.
Good thumbnails.
Especially when they're freshly manicured. It's my favorite kind.
For those of you guys that's joining the stream late, this is Ted's work.
Tetsuo?
Ted is one of
Tetsuo! It's
student.
Ted, actually.
And look at the frames. Like he basically picks 4 frames, but it has to follow the perspective of this 90 degrees pan. So the entire space has to be designed, and then the frame within all the frame within themselves has to be designed as well. And this one is William's work. Same thing. Composition has to work within the frame, and the entire environment has to be also designed and follow the space. So if you are having trouble with imagining the space, always use a grid. Always use a grid. So like this one, like very clearly there's a space that's established.
Yes.
Right? So I'll show you, I'm just showing you these two as a point of reference. Okay. Great. And this is Carell's work. We've critiqued a few of Carell's work in the past. They've always been very good on lighting, very good on composition. Same thing here. Just everything looks like they're in the right spot, and I love the colors actually. The colors are working very nice for me. So in terms of the one down here, I think one of my complaints is lighting direction is like I don't know what's casting these two shadows. Maybe there's a structure over here that's gonna cast a shadow going up. Maybe there's a second structure that casts a shadow going up over there. But we don't mind that. It's just in terms of composition, I'd like it to be a little bit more explained. Like if I can see what's going on, it's probably a good idea. Also, I have to figure out where's the light coming from. So judging from this cylinder here, I think the light's coming from the left side. Go to layers. How did I lose all my Photoshop menus? I don't really understand. Presets. Go up here. So in terms of this one, I think one of the problem is everything's very, very saturated. So you look at the red rock over here, if that's lit under light, it's very, very warm. And to make this read a little bit easier on the eye, I have to decide whether I want cooler shadows. Like if you look at the shadow and you look at the light, both are very, very warm. So if I click here, that's the same shade of red. Can you guys see my color wheel? Probably not. Okay, but sorry, my throat is just killing me. So basically, like you see this part, and then going a little bit further so you guys can see. See this part? That's a little bit cooler. If I pick this, actually I'm going desaturated. I'm going more desaturated. And desaturation against the warm saturation makes it look a little bit cooler. But the walking on the color wheel thing, I wish I can put this somewhere you can see. Okay, so if I put it here, you guys can probably see a little bit better. I'll make it maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah, giant color wheel. Let's get a load of this. Nice.
It's so huge.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about color. If you pick here and you see that's bright orange and it's very saturated, and you pick in the shadows, that's walking towards the cooler side of the color wheel, and that's gonna get a little bit desaturated. So this is picking color. We've got to be able to control the warm and the cool versus the light part and the shadow part. So for the light part, we get all this nice yellows and oranges. And I'm gonna start to cool down the shadows like so. And treating this just like a simple basic cylinder. The light's coming from the left side. So just walk this down. You see on the color wheel, instead of being the full orange, when I go to the shadow, I have to walk it down to a little bit cooler. This is cool down here. I'm not gonna go full all the way there. Instead, I'm just gonna walk a little bit off this way and make it desaturated by walking left on my color picker. See the difference that it makes? It just cools down the entire shadow side. Like so. I'm gonna do the same thing for some of these ground areas. So if you see here, that's still very saturated. I'm gonna walk that cooler and make it a little bit more desaturated. I'm exaggerating it a little bit, but not by too much. Also, I'm not sure what is casting this shadow here, so I'll pick an area and I'll give it a little bit of highlight towards the back, just to show that that shadow is not continuing over. In fact, it's just maybe one structure, one column that's casting the shadow. Otherwise, I leave all that back area all in shadow, which will tell me the whatever is here, over here is probably too big. It's huge shapes. So at this point, I just want to control my values. So the warm and cool is fully controlled through how you use your color wheel. So you see the yellow, and you see how it cools down and goes over to the cool side, a little bit desaturated. And whenever you're doing this kind of color picking between the warm and cool, it's very beneficial to pick your own colors, meaning you go to the color wheel and pick the exact color of the core shadow, exact color of the shadows, and not just blend them, not just pick a darker color and try to blend it down, because that way everything will start to look very muddy. It's like you're trying to blend too many color together, too many different kind of paints together, and they end up just looking quite gray. Like they're desaturated in a way that it's muddy, it's not controlled. So that's why I want to take this opportunity to show you that picking color and making it look rich is all in the how you pick from the color wheel. Like you pick each color and you lay it down flat, and then you pick another color and you lay it down flat again. It's not about mixing them down. Dampest tuba, lesson of the day: always be on the cool side of the color wheel. That's right, unless you're in the warm side, like, you know, on the light side. Whatever it may be. And Corel, this is very nice color so far. I'd worry a little bit about the edges of your focal point. So basically parts like this, where you want things to look a little bit more sharp. Really just get that tone, get that line and edge in there, because every piece, the lines are the first thing we see for every single piece, and then I can blend or group some of the shadow values together, like so. Like some of these shadow values are really cool. They're quite far in the blues. And you don't need that much texture in the back here. Like if I just look at the lines that you have, Corel, you don't really need all that texture in this area. I like the shadow value there. I'm not really sure whether this is going to work or not, but if that's going to be further and further away, it would get filtered by atmospheric color. cooling down the shadows, it's gonna make my bright areas look warmer. So that's why I made these changes. And you can still play around with the details of how these shapes come together. Like if I want to make this part lit, I'll just use that as my my highlight area. I can paint all kinds of nice details, but I don't really need to. It's about choosing where you put your details. I'm almost done with this one, so just bear with me for a second here. And I don't like how you have see this diagonal line? I'll mark it down for you. My throat is burning. So see this this long diagonal
You want some
line?
water?
Yeah, actually that would be nice. Thanks. Games are pretty expensive to make. Like games, I think the problem with games nowadays is that they're so expensive to make, and games are getting so much. Like AAA games are crazy. They take years to make, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and sometimes they don't make back their budget. If the games flop, the studio will go down. So that makes it very, very crazy and risky for people to have like to invest that much money into a new IP. Sometimes they hit. Like when they hit really hard. Like The Last of Us, I think, is one of the craziest new IPs that everybody's loved. But imagine an IP that you come out and people don't like it, and you spend millions of dollars on it. So that's why I like there's a ton of indie games, there's a ton of smaller games, but I think people still expect a lot from the AAAs, and they also kind of just scrutinize them a little bit more, meaning like they expect a lot. Like if a big studio come out with a game, you probably expect them to, you know, hit all your sweet spots. Otherwise you're like, fuck this, I don't want to play it.
Hey Attila, Specuman Gaming is asking, how much do you ask for design? I mean, how much do you charge for design?
Depends on how long it takes. Usually I like to charge by day rate. So I say it's actually not that much. It's like $500 per day, to anywhere from 500 to 800 is probably the average for per day. So if I can finish one design a day, and that gets passed, that will be a $500 design. But if the client come back with, say they want something more intricate that takes more time to do, it might take longer. So it might be 2 days, it might be 3 days with revisions and stuff like that. So the longer it takes, the more expensive the design is. But sometimes we do a whole bunch in a day. So it really depends on how, what I'm trying to say is it varies by project, but different project, different requirements. Essentially, it comes down to how much time and resources do you have to put on it, right? And this is the same with just freelancers in general. Like you charge by how long is it going to take you. Say that you make tables for a living. You can charge by per table, or you can charge by per day of time that you spend on making the table, because every table that every table that you make is a custom table. You can't just make a whole bunch and then expect to sell them to everybody. Let's just say that, for example. Then if every table you make is a custom table, you will probably have to charge by time instead of by per table. What if I want a Renaissance style table that's just like full of sculpted ornaments and things that's kind of like for decoration? That'll probably take longer than a week to do, but
way longer than a week,
right? But what if I just want a simple workbench that you just put some legs on a plank of wood, right? That'll take very little time to do. So it's not really material, it's not really like expertise, but it's like time to do it. But then it run into another problem. Is like, what if something that's like, it takes me 1 day to do and it takes someone else 5 days to do? Should I be charging 1 day of rate versus somebody else, should they be charging 5 days instead of 1 just for doing that same thing? So the answer is probably no. Then, you know, that's why the better you are as a designer and the more efficient you are, meaning you can do things very good for less amount of time because you've worked out your pipeline. You know how to do it. Imagine that you're the best table maker in the world and you're really fast. Then are you going to charge the same $500 a day as the next guy who make hack tables, right? That becomes your prerogative. That becomes your a calculation, a thin line of balance that you have to walk. It's like, how much should I charge for my table if I'm really good at making tables, right? So it is a case by case. Some clients, their budgets are lower. Some budgets are higher. You have to have a clear understanding of what you're offering. Like if you're the best table maker in the world, but you charge like 10 grand per table, that's still gonna cost you problems. Like you can charge that much, sure, that it's what you decide to charge, but are people gonna come to you? Are enough people gonna come to you for tables? Like if I make amazing tables, but I charge them $10,000 per table, maybe 1 or 2 people will come and be like, I really like your tables. Those are amazing tables. And
exactly.
everybody else will be like, you know what? They're nice tables, but I'm not sure I'm going to spend $10,000 on it. Yeah.
And then, so if that happens to you, how do you turn the tables? Wait, you thought I was done?
Yeah. No, I hoped you were done. I didn't think you were. So, I'm almost done with this. I think I'm just using blocks to kind of group together my lighting a little bit, create some forms. You know, value change equals form change. So when I change the values over here, I'm basically suggesting form change. Now, are these form changes effective? Not sure. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But all I'm trying to do is break up that line. I don't like long diagonal lines. They point too much. They point towards things a little bit too much. So that's why I wanted to break them up a bit. And I think we're done, because see, the only difference between the original and the edit is that some of the lines are broken, and I fixed some of the shadow tones that I didn't like before. They were a little bit too warm, I felt. Now they're a little bit less warm. Of course, you can go back and fill that in just a little bit more, like just blend that shadow back into the warmth just a tad bit. But other than that, not much else I think needs to be done on this one. You should always consider your light direction, and you should always consider the saturation and temperature of your light and shadow. So if you have a warm light, you might consider using cool shadows. If you have a cool light, you might consider using warmer shadows and much more higher saturation in the shadows, something like that. You have to play around with it a little bit just to see. Another thing with pricing is that you sometimes you might give a client a break as kind of like an introductory rate. Like if it's a new client, you might have to communicate that I'm giving you a easier rate to start, working with together. But then there's another problem, is that if you start too low, very hard to go up in rates. Very, very hard to go up in rates.
Yeah.
I made that mistake a lot when I was first starting to freelance, because I'm not quite sure what rate I should charge. And if you start with a rate, you will have a lot of difficulty trying to raise that with the same client, because you're doing the same work for them. You don't get good that fast, right?
Yeah.
So really think about like your worth, your time's worth. Obviously, if you're starving for clients, you're not going to be able to charge a very high rate for your table. But if you have too much client at the same time, it's not always a good idea to just skyrocket your rate, because sometimes you're not sure where that balance is.
Yeah. Or you can't even afford skyrockets, just the ground ones.
Right. So what I'm saying is, so if you're swarmed with clients, first of all, that's fantastic, because not a lot of people are doing that. But don't jump on the gun and start raising your rates right away, because you might throw away some of the clients. Some of the clients might think you're too expensive, and they won't come back to you, because the rates thing, it's not a good thing to always change that. I really like these colors. This is particularly very, very nice. I like this very, very much. Like, I'll just raise this up a bit. I like that redness.
Make it juicy.
And then that bright highlight, that's really nice. Like, the only thing I'm gonna, actually I can't fix this. This is pretty nice. The only thing I like to do with these is just start carving. Like, I'll just take your color and I start carving, like making my edges more refined, kind of fixing the edges. Like, this area needs work. Just simplifying the shapes, making it more geometric, and do a couple of layers over here. I feel like the edges are a little bit too fuzzy, and this is looking like it's top lit, while that's looking like it's lit from the right. So that's the kind of discrepancy I'll try to fix. And then this reflection might have to get a little bit warmer, because this is looking very cool. Unless that's a reflection coming off the water, this might get a little bit warmer. But anyways, so far so good. All right. So I want to take this chance to explain a little bit about the third assignment my students had to do for me, and this is value keys. It's a little bit difficult to explain exactly what it is. But if you look at the three different ones, the low, high, and mid, I'm actually gonna swap these two. I'm gonna swap the high and mid just so you have a easy way to see the difference. Basically, I'm gonna grab a brush here and really drive home the point. So in a low-key environment, it's kind of like you have your camera on a low exposure. Your shadows might get very dark, and your light will, like, you'll see a lot more value differences in where the light is, where your light is. So this is harder to demonstrate. Because they're actually different lighting situations. Alright, maybe I have to change this a little bit. Forget this. Forget that shadow. So think of the keys as exposure. In a high key environment, if you have a high exposure, your light's going to get bloomed out. There's going to be no detail in the lights. But your shadow is going to get a lot more details. You can see a lot more value differences in where your shadows are. So say for example these parts, you might see all the brick patterns and whatever that you might not normally see if you're in a low-key environment, if this was the same environment. Mid key is just kind of in between. You see a lot of you see almost a full range of going from very bright to very dark. And then low key is that you have a lot of dark, and then you have a little bit of a highlight, and then the range is probably just where it's more on the top end. So in the low key environment, all of your details and your range and your value is going to be described towards the top end. Mid, you get a little bit more range in the middle here. It's going to get a lot of play over here. And in the high key, small amount of really deep shadows. But a lot of play in this area. Your light is bloomed out. There's not much information in the light, but you get a lot of play in the shadows down there. I'll go over this again with another assignment, but it's pretty much how you would expect camera exposure to work. When you control your value, this becomes very important. One of the very important part that you have to start realizing is that it's cool to do 3-tone value compositions, but if you don't know how to control the tones, separate the values correctly, and use the right amount of shadow and right amount of light, it's very hard to get something naturalistic to look at. So another example is this, where you get the sky. So low key here, like the only light part is where the only highlight is where the light coming from the window. So that's like the small amount of light coming out here. The high key, you get a small amount of shadow, whereas the low key you get all shadow, but in the high key environment you just get shadow in the corners and in the part that light is being very much obscured. And the mid key obviously in the middle. It's like a middle of the pack kind of exposure. Alright, I'm gonna take a break and just start painting some random stuff. I have no idea what I'm gonna paint. But, you know, drawing part is always fun. We're gonna do more of this kind of stuff in the next streams. So I can talk less and have Johnny do more gibberish.
Jib jab.
I don't know what to do. You are tapping? Tap dancing?
Yeah, tap dancing.
I love my square brush because I can create edges so easily with this square brush. It's crazy. You notice I'm painting very small.
Jin says, draw chicks, Frank, like the ones you scribble in your sketchbook.
Draw chicks?
Yeah, like little baby chickens.
Alright, little baby chickens. Gotcha. Yeah, I can do that. But okay, so if I'm gonna draw chicks, what kind of environment do you want the chicks to be in? I'm gonna leave it up to you guys.
Jetsag says, what up, Frankie boy?
What is up, bro?
Who is that?
I don't know.
Apparently you have a lot of friends.
Oh, I like friends. I have the most.
F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me.
The most kindest friends.
And is for anywhere and anytime at all. Down here in the deep blue sea.
I don't know, man. I don't know what I want.
Does anyone know what they want?
Yeah, people know what they want. People always know what they want. I don't know what I want.
And the U is also for ukulele.
Don't. Guys, I don't know half the things Johnny says. Like, it's not just you guys. I don't even know. Like, just for the most part, what the hell? Nobody knows. Johnny. What am I doing with my life? Whatever. I just flipped it. Maybe I don't know what I'm painting. Ever consider that? So Johnny's waving the sword around the studio. So I guess it's pretty scary. So I painted something and then I flipped it because I don't like it. So now I'm just gonna work with a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense as the background. Hope you guys don't mind. If you're wondering what that is in the background, I don't know. I have no idea. It will be something, hopefully. Yo, Johnny, people are asking for a challenge channel.
Ah, yes. A good old challenge. Or as they say in France, a challenge. I don't know what they say actually.
What?
Just sounds French to say it like that.
I'm pretty sure
Makes me
that's
feel fancy, you know?
pretty sure that's racist.
It's okay, they're French.
I'm pretty sure that's even more racist. I'm not sure where you're going with that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Since you have a sword over there, you should just like.
It's not a real sword though, so
just,
it doesn't count.
You should just go and join the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, but nobody will expect me, so I don't even need a sword.
That's exactly right. Nobody will expect what you're on about.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Oh, I think you're reading, your thing jumped. You're reading old comments.
My thing did not jump.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, yeah, it
Like
did.
all the way up.
Oh, yeah?
You look at the little bar there on the side. Like,
Wow,
scroll down.
you guys talked so much
No,
when
this
I'm
is,
not looking.
man, this is, no, you went up. You saw a lot of this. This is where it is. Yeah. Umino says, I have a cutlass. I should challenge Johnny to a duel sometime. Good luck. Good luck.
A cutlass?
Yeah, a cutlass.
A cutlass.
It's like a short saber with a cup hilt.
No idea.
You know what a saber looks like, right?
No. Oh, is saber one of those things that curves a
It
little?
curves a bit, yeah. There's a lot of different blades like that.
Jeez, you guys got Johnny talking about swords.
How
again.
many kinds of curved blades can you name, Frank?
0?
Come on, think about it. You don't know any like Chinese swords of curved blades?
Yeah, a cleaver.
What? I don't think you would call it a cleaver. But
A cleaver.
wait, that's not a
has a-
curved blade. Isn't that just like a
Has a
big
curved edge.
butcher knife?
Yeah, a butcher knife has a curved edge, bro.
Do you know the name of that sword he uses in Fearless? I don't remember the name of it.
You mean the Chinese sword?
It's got like the rings on the end, and it's like this big curved blade.
It's called a dao.
Yeah.
Dao. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Yumino says if this was a fantasy world, Frank would be a mage, probably.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't think Frank's brooding enough to be a mage. I think he'd be like...
Probably an archer, to be honest with you.
maybe an archer, yeah.
Okay, if you guys are like expecting me to paint something, I'm probably not gonna be painting something. This is my
What's it fed? Our chief weapon is surprise. I forget the other ones.
the what?
3 weapons. Surprise. Something. Wait, hold on. Oh shit. I don't want that. It's not what I wanted.
Wait, I should paint that thing where. I know what I should paint. Johnny, entertain the crowd until I find something to paint.
Okay, I got you.
Because I got nothing right now.
Trouble at the mill.
Oh, no.
What
What sort of trouble?
One of Crossbean's gone out to school on Cheddle.
Pardon?
One of Crossbean's gone out to school on Cheddle.
I don't understand what you're saying.
One of the Crossbeans has gone out to school on the Treadle.
What on
One of
earth
the
does that
cross
mean?
beams
I don't know.
have
Mr.
gone.
Wentworth just told me to come in here and say that there was trouble at the mill, that's all. I didn't expect a kind of Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Our chief weapon is surprise. Surprise and fear. Fear is fun. Our two weapons
Monty
are fear
Python.
and surprise. And ruthless efficiency. Our three
And
weapons
ruthless
are
efficiency.
fear and surprise and ruthless efficiency. And an almost fanatical devotion to the Pope. Our four. No. Amongst our weapons. Amongst our weaponry are such elements as fear. I'll come in again.
It's too good.
Alright. Alright.
Jitsack says, Great Wall of China, why you not draw that, Frankie?
I'm pretty sure that's racist. Sure, I'll draw that.
You environment artist, why you not draw the Great Wall?
Are
You don't love your country?
all environment artists supposed to draw the Great Wall? What kind of logic do you have? Outdated ones?
Yeah, exactly. The thing jumped up again.
Why does it do that?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm pressing all the keys.
Maybe it's because your chief weapons are surprise. Surprise and fear. Surprise, fear, and ruthless efficiency.
Ruthless efficiency.
Yes. Ruthless efficiency. Ruthless. It's a very woody sounding wood.
You guys want me to paint, or you guys want me to hit Johnny in the face? Because I could do both. but
Why
not-
does it keep jumping up?
but not
That's
at the
really
same
annoying.
time. Do you have any? Is it because I'm?
Just click on the here. Click there. On the there. Yeah. Oh, go change the view. You zoomed out.
Yeah, I did zoom out. Maybe it's because.
Set to default.
Do you think it has
That's
anything
fine.
to do with the zooming of the?
Draw that wall Trump always going on about.
You know what? That's a great idea.
That's funny.
That is funny. Trump's an idiot. He'll never build that wall.
Yes, but his chief weaponry is surprise and fear.
Yeah,
Surprise, fear, versus efficiency.
he's got that going for him.
We'll go no further till we've had a breather.
You know, I've just realized how much, like I looked at a lot of my favorite artists' drawings, like how they start painting and shit, and I realized how rough they go at a beginning stage, and like just sketching wise, I don't think I'm like rough enough in the sense that I don't plan things out enough in like the rough stages, and I always try to jump into details too soon. That's a huge problem. Like, what do I think I'm doing here?
Man, the Android app for Twitch is garbage.
Is it?
Yep. Doesn't let me log in properly.
Hmm.
Can you scroll down again?
Is it not working again?
I can't see anything.
Yeah, why does it do that? It's so weird. Yeah, please liberate free healthcare from the Canadians, because
Also raid their supplies of bacon and maple syrup. See, Jen, I made you sound more important than you actually are.
just raid our supply depot.
Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the store. Good movie. Oh man, I have to show you this guy Denzel was showing me today. I think his name is Derek Jones. I don't know if you've seen his stuff.
What happened?
Blew my mind today. Like
Yeah?
his shapes and his comps and his designs. I saw this one thing he did. It's like an underwater like seabed and robot, and it like cleans the seabed.
Yeah?
But he has all these beautiful, colorful compositions that showcase it. It's,
That's crazy.
it was beautiful. Wait, I bet I can find it.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Here we go. There we go. No, I just gotta find which one it was. Where is it?
What does he do? Is he a painter?
Yeah, what's like concept artist. He does like some cool abstract stuff as well, but I'm trying to find the one in particular, but it's not showing up here. It doesn't like
Let you search properly?
display stuff very well. The app is janky.
Janky.
Oh, I found
apps.
it. See this? Right? Pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. Well, is that 3D?
I don't know. It looks like it's hand painted.
Holy
Some
shit.
of it's 3D.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. What? Nice colors, bro. Nice colors. Yo, you want to
Look
put
at that
the
one.
you want to put the links
Look
in
at that
here?
one.
Oh, what's his name?
Derek Jones?
Derek Jones. Derek Jones.
He's on
and-
ArtStation.
and he's on ArtStation.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat, man. That's,
He does some,
that's
like-
really cool.
Other like really weird cool stuff too. I don't even know.
I like those colors. Looks looks like kind of 3D. Yeah?
Yeah, but he does like a lot of cool concept stuff.
That's I don't know if you did that in SketchUp or whatever, but like this is pretty intricate. Whoa, animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's serious shit.
Derek Jones. Derek Jones. Everybody, just go on ArtStation and search that. What's astral projection? Out of body
Oh.
experience?
You're getting trolled.
It's astral projection. I don't get it. Having somebody hijack your body and start doing stuff, that's not the worst thing that could happen to you. Don't worry about it. Out of all the things you should be scared of, that's not even on the list.
You know what's scary?
You? No, not really.
Well, not really.
What?
I think
Think about it before you say it.
the possibility of having to give up on my dreams because of necessity is a big fear of mine. Which is unlikely now because things just keep getting better.
Dude, it's always likely.
But yeah.
Because don't your dream like change?
Well, it evolves, but it's more of like, for me, it's more of like there's a very big overall goal that I want to get to, and I don't really think I can necessarily reach that one, but there's steps that lead up to that one, and I can do the beginning ones at least. And if it keeps going, you know, then it keeps going.
You can do the steps.
Yeah, the steps are pretty good. And sometimes there'll be ones that you wouldn't even have imagined.
What's your dream?
My dream?
Yeah. Own a castle? I know that one.
A castle. That's more of a superficial dream. It's not really like a
Don't let your memes be dreams.
Currently, more than anything else, right now, I want to turn Ravon into a full-fledged indie game. But it's going to take some time.
And I want to turn Demons Above into a comic book. And that's going to take probably less time than yours.
Yeah.
Y'all just don't know how to manage expectations. I know how to manage expectations because I grew up funny. You know? When you grew up funny, you kind of just like, oh, I'm not like mentally messed up. I guess that's cool. I can live with that.
Doggle.
There's always room for more doggle. So, if you're wondering, this is the kind of three-tone value composition that I like to do because it makes my painting so simple to start. I almost don't have to commit to anything, and I can just change it around and push things, and still I'm designing my entire frame at a time, right? And I try to, for this one, I'm trying to get that Beyond Good and Evil 2 kind of like stylized city stacked on top of each other kind of feel. I really like that that look, that style of design. And I'm trying to get there with my color blocks. So like all my layering perspective and all that is just basically shape against shape. So it's a very weird way to compose, but I like doing that. And from here I can go in any direction. I can make it futuristic, or I can add city lights, make neon signs, or I can just relax and paint. I don't know what I'll paint. Maybe I'll introduce a fourth tone. Wait, I gotta read this. Because I actually want to know what astral projection is. Psychological projection is a theory in psychology in which humans defend themselves against their own unconscious impulses or qualities, both positive and negative, by denying their existence in themselves while attributing them to others. One, for example, a person who is habitually rude may constantly accuse other people of being rude. It incorporates blame shifting. Wait, that's not actually astral projection, right? What you just described is projection, like psychological projection. As in, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's just trolling. What? Jeez, I don't get. I actually want to know. I started reading, not even like.
I feel like astral projection is one of those things like everyone has a different definition for.
So basically, like
we can basically like people be like, oh, it's like when you have an out of body experience or something, but like I don't think anyone really knows what that means.
out of body experience.
Yeah,
Like tripping, basically tripping. Right? Wait.
Yeah, but like when you say you see yourself from another viewpoint, that can mean anything. Like you can see yourself from another viewpoint whenever you want.
You literally see yourself as if like somebody else is waving a camera and you're looking at your physical body.
So watching yourself, a video of yourself, would be
Yeah.
astral projection.
Right, but then it's not like you watching a video of yourself. It's like, I don't know. Right, like tripping, like you're just having a third person perspective experience about yourself. Man, you know what would be fucking cool? I would just love to watch myself go through my day as like I just don't have any control. I just like look at myself doing things.
Yeah, it'll probably freak you out a little.
Yeah, maybe not, you know.
Yeah, I don't feel it's like like what I mean is like I understand what the concept of it is, but I feel like it's something where like a lot of people be like, oh yeah, I can like astral project, or like it's like
No,
a thing
they
that people
can't.
talk about, and it's like nah. I feel like it's one of those it's like an interesting concept, but it's one of those things that's like I think people put too much value on.
What?
We're like it's. This is also me speaking out of ignorance, so take it with a grain of salt. But I feel it's
Come again?
I feel it kind of goes up with all the thing like when you can like where people talk about how they can see other people's auras, you know, or they can like read fortunes and shit like that.
No, I thought we were talking about astral projection.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like within the same vein of like I don't know.
So
stuff like that.
you're a non-believer. You're like that.
No, I'm
that
just like
shit
I
never
haven't found
flies.
anything. I haven't seen anything convincing yet, or haven't experienced anything convincing. So until I do, I'm like, I neither
Yo, but
believe
you're not
nor
sup-
deny it.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to be able to experience that just like randomly. You know, like you never really went and seek that experience. So why would you be feeling it like randomly? It's not something that just happens.
Oh
to
no,
you,
I
right?
realize that.
Okay, what should I put in the sky? Because like I don't want to just put a cloud. I want to put
Don't
like,
put anything.
I put an airship or something.
Keep that simple value grouping.
Blah blah blah. Boring.
Don't add noise where you don't need it.
Boring. Come on, it's all about noise. It's all about the noise.
I think we experience a lot of similar things to what we consider astral projection to be, but it's not quite that.
Has anybody actually experienced it? I guess not, right? I mean, maybe.
Well,
people
maybe
experience
we might
versions of
experience
it.
things that we think is it, but how do you actually know if that's what it is?
Is
Because you can't scientifically like study it at this point.
Why do you dismiss everything before we even discuss it?
Well, because the reason for me is I feel it's better to
To not even contemplate
consider things that have strong evidence instead of
it? Jeez.
and
Okay,
entertaining
okay,
wait let me
great.
finish
All right. Yeah.
instead of entertaining ideas that we don't really know if they're a thing or not. That's like a concept more than something that we can actually prove. And this is what I'm saying is I think it's okay to like make up stuff and be like, if you're making stories, all these kind of things, like all that kind of stuff doesn't matter. But like there's so much stuff that we don't understand and know that could have any explanation for, but then there's also so much stuff that we don't really understand that there is explanation for as well. Like I think if people did like more research or like learned more things, you would like probably have a bit of a different idea about some stuff. But this is like kind of I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just like there's so many good scientific explanations for stuff. I feel like those things are already like really really interesting, and for me to be like, oh holy shit, you know, like astral projection.
I'm interested in the scientific explanation of astral projection.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's the thing is because like if there was actual studies and stuff that been done, I'd be curious to look at them and see like what they found.
Okay. So my I was gonna say like isn't meditation a kind of like a passive kind of form of trying to get somewhat of a third person perspective on yourself? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that kind of just trying to step out of your normal mode of animalistic desires and routines of life to just get
You mean like self-awareness?
self-awareness?
I-
Obviously
Maybe.
not astral projection, but like isn't that like if we're talking about third party experiences
Yeah.
of yourself.
Well, for me, that makes more sense because that's something I can actually experience for myself and that I've tried, that I can be like, okay, this is a thing.
So have you meditated?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it depends what I want out of it, right? Like sometimes, and I think meditation is not like this thing where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna meditate now, and everything's gonna be great. Sometimes when you're in a bad headspace, meditating can make it worse.
Isn't meditating about thinking about nothing?
Yeah, but it's like
It's supposed to like.
I
alleviate
think
your
for some
bad
people,
state,
like
right?
you can train yourself to do those kind of things, but I think a lot of times, like if you're in a space, like if you're around like really negative people, or you're like your atmosphere is not like a positive environment, when you try to force yourself into a space where you think about nothing, your mind wanders. You have to actively, like, I think if meditation is done correctly, you have to actively focus on being in like kind of a state of nothing.
Right. Yeah.
But the problem with that is it's very, very easy for your mind to just wander into like different places and you don't really know where it's going to go.
I get that, but I thought the whole point of meditation is to eliminate those bad thoughts from your mind so that you can live, you can be sane, right? Like the point
Yeah.
of doing that is to think nothing of, like think very little of yourself and your problems and troubles. Instead, just align yourself to the overall existence.
I think that's like a romanticized version of meditation. Because like I think ideally it's supposed to work like that, but you don't always have full control of like everything. Because like you know how sometimes like you're just sitting there and a random thought like pops into your head,
yeah.
and you're like, oh, I don't really want to think about that, but then the more you try not to think about it, the more it like
Don't think
becomes
about it.
apparent.
Right. Don't
Like,
think
oh,
about
that
the
embarrassing
elephant.
thing I did that one time, right? Like it's like
Yeah,
that
like the
kind of
thing
stuff.
that you think every night before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Why did I?
I feel like
What-
more often than not meditation puts me in that state where I'm just like
Why did I?
don't know.
Why did I say that thing to that girl? Yeah. Like, why didn't I? What? How did that came out so wrong? Eh? How?
yeah, I don't know.
All the mistakes of my life flashes back in front of my eyes every night before I go to bed, or just when Johnny meditates. I don't know, man.
I found the best times that kind of things have worked for me is when I'm like I'm already like in a pretty good mood, or I'm in a place that has good, I know like this is
Okay.
kind of bullshit, but like has more positive energy, and then I can very easily just be in a meditative state. It doesn't like, it's not something that I have to build up to. I feel like that's
Yep.
more effective than being like, I think when I'm in a positive when I have a lot of negative energy built up, I feel like meditation alone isn't a solution. Most of the time, the main thing for me that helps is talking to other people how I feel about things. Maybe that's a form of meditation too. I don't know.
Okay. Well, no, but it's because talking to people is a form of relief,
Yeah.
right? Because you're sharing your burden and your trouble of your mind with another person. That's actually a very good venue of release. And as artists and as people, we just need releases. Like the whole point of living with other people, of doing things for other people, is so that there's a potential that they will do things for you, and
Yeah.
they will help you release stress. because-
Ideally, unless like you're around people that are really negative, then that's
and really selfish.
worse.
And basically, the people that cannot help you are people that are not self-sufficient and they're very dependent. Right? So sure, we don't have to become very dependent people, but everybody needs like releases and just for like things that we do to survive, right?
Yeah. Anyways, disclaimer: meditation is actually good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying for some people it's very difficult.
Have you considered that maybe you're just not doing it right?
There's not really much to it.
Oh, There's a lot to it, bro.
No, I think it's. I think
I
that's
think-
all just different ways to help people get to that state.
I have disclaimer that I've meditated, and I'm not sure if I'm doing it right or not. And like I do agree, like the more stressed I am, the harder it is to meditate. And like the whole point of meditating is to get away from certain stress, like useless stress, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the kind of work that we do, it generates so much uncertainty, and uncertainty generates so much worry and stress that it actually hinders my ability to be able to perform and work.
Mm.
But meditation is something that I use as kind of like a what's it called? It's not a relief then. What is it? Like a tool to reset my mind so that I can work more efficiently, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when that doesn't work? Like you said,
Yeah.
what if it doesn't work for you? Then what do you do? Are you fucked?
Well, I just think you have to try something else.
Astral projection, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be so funny though if you just watch a video of yourself doing something but you've never done that thing before. That you're just watching yourself go out and do this thing, and then but you
actually haven't done it.
but you actually have not
Is this
done
just
it.
a simulation of you doing something?
But what if you're actually doing that thing, but you are watching yourself doing that thing? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
You mean like not on film?
Not on film. Maybe you're just floating around like a ghost. Like if you're like really badly tripping or something. Oh, hey Ted, how's it going, man? Welcome to the
Yeah,
conversation.
I don't know. I feel because for me, the way when I think about like meditation, and it's being like where it's being like in that you're inducing this state by like through like a ritual. I feel like that necessary. I think being in the meditative state is really good, but I don't think like a lot of the mantra of being meditative always helps. Sometimes you have to try different things. So like getting yourself just into like a flow state by doing something that you're very comfortable with and enjoy can be one way of meditation, or like it can be therapeutic. Like drawing for me is a form of meditation. Playing music, just walking, like being active, but you keep that repetition going until your mind loses track of time and you're just in a state of now. I think for me that's like my meditative state. And it doesn't necessarily mean I sit down and I sit there and try to meditate. I feel like for me it has to be more something where I'm comfortable and like relaxed. So like, and I can induce those by doing things that relax me or have positive therapeutic effects. Like if it's good weather, going for a walk, being by the water, talking to positive, inspiring people, listening to good music, things like that.
No, I agree.
I don't know. I'm just kind of discussing it a little because I think it's good to like talk about or question different viewpoints and things. I like doing that a lot. Even if like sometimes I'll question things and say stuff and it ends up being kind of stupid because there's other angles of it I never really figured out. But I don't like to be in this kind of mindset where I just accept everything as it comes to me, even if there's like decent evidence. I always like to think about and contemplate stuff before I'm just like, yeah, that's the shit. But I feel like the only way you can really like analyze an idea is to listen first. So I think when talking to people, it's really good to, I'm kind of going off topic, but it's good to like focus on what people are saying and then rationalize the idea in your head and then make a decision instead of like making the decision while they're trying to explain things. But yeah, anyway, I kind of rambled a bit there.
Yeah, Johnny's release is drumming and trolling.
Trolling. Yeah. I think trolling is like not the best way. That's more of a habitual thing. But being like silly or goofy is a lot of fun.
What's esoteric mean?
You can look it up.
You have to Google it.
My vocabulary is not as good as it used to be.
But like, isn't English like your native language?
Yeah, but it's like if you don't review things, it gets, or if you don't use the words a lot.
Esoteric, intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. So, okay.
Obtuse, I guess.
No, not obtuse. Like, just shit that you enjoy and only a small amount of people enjoy. I guess.
Oh, yeah.
If I start talking about cars,
most things I
also-
talk about get pretty niche. Because there's there's like the base group of it. Say like, okay, I'm a fan of like, historical fashion, but then there's subgenres and groups to that too, right? Or like, say you're like into like you like certain things about cars. That's a very general thing, but then you start to get into like what kind and certain functions
like
of them,
and tracking,
and inspirations of that kind of stuff. Like, and then it gets more and more. Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, wait, don't worry about it, Nicholas. We're just kind of like making analogies of stuff.
Yeah, no idea what we're talking about. It's fine. You'll get used to that with Johnny. So I did make a post today saying we're gonna talk to the students of Talentry on the stream tonight, but they bailed on me.
Yeah.
They bailed on us. So you get classic Johnny and Frank today. Not that it's bad, but it's different schedule, different rhythm.
Can you scroll down
Different
on the
painting.
window? Also scroll down on the main one a tiny bit.
Main one.
Yeah, this one. Just a bit. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's not bad.
Nice. Our viewer count went up by a bit.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to drop because of the new schedule. Like,
Yeah.
people don't know.
I was just worried because if there were people that actually wanted to catch it and they were missing it because they didn't catch the announcement. Giant Wood says didn't see any.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't see any. That's cool. That's okay.
Jin says rip students, rip Frank, and then Umino says rip, and then Jetsai says rip. I don't know why I put so many P's in there. Because you can't actually elongate the consonants. You have to elongate the vowels. Just so you know, just heads up.
Yeah, it's just what Johnny said.
Umino says,
opposite nerds.
when I was just learning English, I thought rip was a single word, so sometimes I say rip in peace. You're not alone. I'm not saying I did that, but I've seen it, so don't worry. Have you ever seen someone do that? Say rip in peace?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yo,
Rip.
English is so weird when I was first learning it.
English is really weird.
Actually, French is more weird.
You know why English is weird? Because everything contradicts each other. Like, there's rules, and then there's exceptions to the rules, and there's exceptions to the exceptions. And then there's, like, context, and, like, it's just... But because of that, you have, one of the most, like, expressive languages.
English?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Well, have you read much English literature? I'm sure I know like other languages have a lot of shit as well, but like you have Shakespeare, who's like one of the greatest like literary people of all time.
Right.
No, the thing is, no one really understands that kind of stuff anymore. But
Yeah, it's a tragedy.
it's very like it's
simple
to I think to start, but to get like very in depth and to have a full understanding of it, it's very complicated because it pulls from other languages, right? Like French, German, Spanish, all these languages went into English, and then from wherever it originally started. I don't know, like the Anglo-Saxons or some shit. Like,
Right. So
my history isn't that good.
is that a disclaimer?
Yeah.
Fine, I'll let you have that.
It's not because I speak English, Jin.
It's probably because he speaks English. You like to think that you're so, like, what's the word? Sophisticated.
No way, man. You kidding?
Yeah, Johnny, you're so
I'm a fucking scrub.
you're so sophisticated, Johnny.
I didn't even finish high school. Like, come on.
Tell us something about. But I thought you're homeschooled.
Yeah, it's well, like that level, like the grade level, right? Because it's the same thing. In terms of like learning.
Johnny's actually pretty bad at math, but
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
supposed to tell you that. I finally find someone
Yeah.
who's worse at math than I
No,
am.
anyone who's bilingual is like, there's already like a little bit more intelligence there than someone who just speaks one language.
People are gonna get salty when you say that.
Why?
Because a lot of people speak just one language.
Yeah, well, you know, I only speak one, so. I wish I would have spoken, like, I kind of want to speak more. Like, I wanted to learn Ukrainian when I was a kid, but it didn't really happen. French would be fun. Because I could be like, je, and omelette du fromage, etc.
Does that literally mean like fermented cheese?
I think it's just like omelet with cheese.
Omelet with cheese. That's amazing.
You know, Jet Sag, I am a metalhead, but I like a lot of other music too, so
So
don't judge me.
I think
I'm
Johnny
kidding. You
just
can judge me, I don't care.
Johnny just likes things that nobody else like. Like if there's a small amount of people liking something, chances are Johnny will like it.
What? No.
Just because.
No, I like things that I like.
Because you are esoteric.
I think the word you're looking for is eccentric.
Okay. That works too.
Yeah, I don't actually know what that really means, but yeah. I feel like,
I can't believe I'm learning English on the stream.
how are you learning English? Oh, but
I'm
that's
learning
like,
a new word.
that's not like
It's
widely
English,
used English
it not?
terminology.
Why are they using it?
One person was using it.
Who? Jin?
I think Jet Sag was using it. Like, it's common. Like, if you say the word, people are gonna know it's an English word. But like, we don't use it like, you know, a regular word that
But
people
it's
use.
such a nice word.
But that's the thing, is there's so many. I feel like there's so many good words that people can use to make their speech more colorful. Instead of
Right.
saying like very or really all the time, you could be
right.
like,
Yeah. Very.
you know,
It's
instead
very
of being like
lazy.
very hungry, you could be like, I'm ravenous.
I'm famished.
I'm famished. Exactly. See, there's like all these, but but like other languages have a lot of that stuff too. And based on like, even based on like regions or different cultures, they'll have very specific words for different things. I think like, I don't know if it was like Norwegian or there was like some northern country that has like a bunch of words just for snow. Maybe it's Iceland. Who knows? I'm
Oh,
trolling
yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool because then you could just like have fun with stuff.
Of course.
I don't play guitar. Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry about that. You just don't play.
I kind of want to learn like if I was gonna pick up guitar, I kind of would want to learn some acoustic guitar, like the finger picking style. But I don't have anyone to teach me, so I could always learn online. But you know how it is. For me, I won't do it unless I actually have like a person mentoring me. Favorite bands? There's too many to name. Do you mean like metal bands or general? Because like I listen to a lot of stuff that's not metal as well. Especially recently, I'm just trying out new things. My new favorite is actually a band called Snarky Puppy. They're like weird jazz kind of band. Oh please, not deathcore. Please kill me. Some death metal, yeah, especially melodic death metal. Tech death metal and folk metal I like a lot too. Progressive melodic tech subgenres are pretty decent too. So yeah, I don't know. It depends, because like for me there could be different stuff within the genre that is okay, but I'd have to hear it and then make like like, for example, like I'd have to listen to the entire album or like an entire song through before I can decide whether I like it or not. And sometimes I have to like listen to it several times to for it to start to like make sense to me, because sometimes it gets a little bit too complex, especially with prog stuff. Like Animals as Leaders is one of my favorites now, but it took me a while to like for that to sink in. System of a Down, I listened to System of a Down when I was like 14 on the radio. Since then, not really. They're still okay. Like I'm not mad at them. No, not a big fan of Camelot. Currently, I've been going back and listening to old favorites recently. Like I've been binging Korpiklani again. That's a Finnish folk metal band. Beyond Creation's really good. I'm waiting for Winter Sun's new album, which is supposed to come out next month. Yeah.
I like the blue.
The blue is nice.
I like.
I kind of like the painting where it is right now.
You like it?
Yeah. I cannot jet sag. I'm too afraid to like lose my voice to like attempt to practice that. Like I can sort of growl, but it's not very good. I'd rather be like better at clean vocals, honestly. But I don't mind the growling at all. Like Yari from Winter Sun has a really good distorted vocal, but he mixes that with clean really well. I really like the distortion on the lead for Belacor. That one's really nice. I find I'm pretty picky about the distorted vocals. Like I'll hear it and I'll decide like whether I like it or not, even though I can't really pinpoint why.
Growling.
Yeah.
How is growling a thing?
I don't know. I don't know how that ever became. I think it was a bit of an evolution, because the old school like metal singers, they would sing with that like the harsh kind of vocalization. Mm-hmm. So they would be like on key with stuff, but it would be very like your stuff like Megadeth, right? And then from there, I think it just kind of evolved to like getting more and more
growly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take some time and
we're actually
progress
like almost half an hour past our time.
Yeah, I realized that. So we're supposed to only stream for 2 hours, but because we're having such a nice conversation about astral projection, and just let ourselves go over a bit. It's almost like me watching myself paint, because I'm like engaging and talking, but I'm not really thinking. You find that a lot with me, when I'm not thinking. I just want to have fun and relax. This is actually pretty relaxing, you know what? Like streaming, usually sometimes I have to say streaming is like stressful, like before you go to stream, because I'm like just scrambling to get my shit together. But once it starts and you guys are here, it gets pretty enjoyable, because I can just turn my brain off and paint. And let Johnny entertain you guys.
Can you scroll down?
No way, bro.
Just in case there's more stuff.
I need Johnny here to chill things out? No, Johnny's too metal.
Okay, I got something for you.
Oh yeah.
And you guys know who this is? This is one of like my top 10 favorites. that's growling. That's what he's referring to.
I see.
I'll skip through. Yeah, it's a really good tone. I like it too when it's not like when it's timed well with the music and there's big spaces in between. I don't like it when it's constant like through like the the whole song and you can't really catch on to the music very well. That's kind of annoying. But yeah,
I know what you mean.
clean vocals is really nice too. There's a few like there's a few power metal ones that I really like as well. Like Rhapsody is still legit. Galnerius is a really good like neoclassical power metal band from Japan. His earlier vocals weren't as good, but he got better recently, and the guitar player is like one of the best in the world. So you guys, like, if you're into that kind of stuff, go check it out.
The best?
Yeah, he's really good. He's like Malmsteen kind of level.
The best. Ooh.
Right, Frank? It's that time again.
We're gonna sign off.
That's scroll time.
Oh, the scroll
Got
time.
him. Yeah, well, we should probably head out.
Yeah, it's getting pretty late out here. Because you notice the sun setting in the back, and you can actually see our faces now. We're not like silhouetted against the
Periphery's okay.
stuff.
Like I don't mind them. Like they're not like I can listen to them, but I'm not like holy shit. They're okay. Like they're good musicians. Man, I wish I still had my kit. I really want to play music again.
For a second, I thought you said you wish you still had your kid.
Yeah, well, you know, I had to leave him with his mother for a while because I just couldn't handle the responsibility, so I just bailed. And then I came back and he's like, "Why did you leave?" And I was like, "I was afraid of being a father." No, I don't know.
What movie would that be from?
I don't know, man.
Story of Johnny's life.
Yeah. I'd be a terrible parent, so it's probably not gonna happen.
You say that now. Actually, like, if you know you're gonna be a bad parent, it's probably a good idea not to participate.
You know, there's no need to contribute to the overpopulation and the depletion of the Earth's resources. So yeah, it's a very logical explanation. Okay.
Chalk that up for
Yeah.
gibberish.
Anyways, how are you feeling with that?
With this?
Yeah.
With this painting?
Yeah.
I feel okay. I mean, it has potential. It's nothing yet.
Yeah. Are you ready to sign out?
Yep. You guys having a good night so far? We did some critiques. We had some fun. We talked
Yeah.
about death metal.
Exactly.
We growled. We talked about astral projection. I had fun, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I think I spent an hour on it so far. Is it an hour? I don't even know. I don't count. But it's cool, guys. Hope to see you here again. If I don't get to any critiques, then we'll see you next Thursday. If we do get to some critiques, I'll kind of just do them periodically because I don't want to like take everybody's time to watch everybody else's critiques. With that said, you know what?
Yeah.
You guys trolled me good, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about that.
I think what may be fun too in the future is have a stream where people can jump into like a voice chat room in the Discord and also like talk to us while we stream and people can hear it.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, so you guys are in the Discord, right?
Yeah.
Just say yes.
There's a bunch of them in there.
Right, there's a bunch of you in the Discord. So there's a Discord, there's a streaming room in the Discord. I think next time we'll try that. So for those of you that stick with us so far, you guys are the loyal fans. I love you guys.
Look
so
at
much.
that blue in the camera.
Oh, we got blue.
That's like that's a super blue.
So next time, what's gonna happen is that I think Johnny's gonna wear the headset, or we're gonna like play it, you know, through one of the headset. Maybe we'll share one, and we'll just kind of talk to you and try that for maybe 10 minutes. If it's too chaotic, we'll kind of just shut you guys down.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's 9:30.
Yeah.
We're ready to head out.
Half an hour overtime. Lucky bastards.
Have a good night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this.
We'll see
Peace
you
out.
guys next Thursday. Click that button.
Click that button.